Hey y'all, what's up? It's me, Jocasta Lester. In this video, I want to talk to you about how there are cover-ups for cover-ups, cover-ups. I just got word of mouth from somebody that I met around here. I just, shot her home, or down the street rather. I just heard that the building where I reside, there was a house fire. There was a fire at this apartment building, and some children were rescued from the building. Okay. I've been hearing in my spirit that there were people in the attic of this building, and that there were people that died in this building in the attic. I saw a raccoon. It came out of the soffits of this building, and basically, before before I had even noticed, there was a piece of the siding at the rooftop missing from the building, in a hole, like it was a vent hole. And a long story short, like, soon as he closed up that hole to that attic, those raccoon came running out. I mean, they ran. They came out of the soffits, and one raccoon went back up, got its baby, and left. Okay, so when I look at it, I'm like, okay, the raccoon of the building. I look at unclean animals and animals. I kind of think about people, human behavior, so when I see animals. But here's the thing that I see about this building. I've heard about there being an attic. There was a conversation about being trapped in the attic, or being in the attic, in what was my spirit. And also, I was told that Tobias was in this attic and that he had been tortured badly. I heard talk of this poor baby in the attic in my landlord's voice, like somebody had left him in bad shape in the attic. I saw what was my ex-husband seeing the light after he looked out of the down the hall. He had left the apartment building, but while he was walking out of the apartment building, it was somebody on the bed where my bed is now, looking down the hallway, kind of with the sad, distressed look, like, why did you do this to me? Okay, as he walked away. Also, there was there was another nightmare where I heard what was cheering. It was like a crowd of people had gathered. I was half asleep, half awake. It was like being there, but not being there, but being there. It's like I heard the cheers of, like, what was a young, youthful audience or something. Like somebody had broken the attic open, and the audience was cheering, and that was that. It was another time where I was between sleep and awake, and there were these little speck black bugs, these bugs that they would just appear out of nowhere. And I'm telling you, it was like they were crawling at the top, just at the top of the ceiling, the wall, that was adjacent to the ceiling. So at the 90-degree kind of point where the ceiling meets the wall, there were these bugs that kind of looked like they were dripping down the wall. I saw this in a nightmare, but it was kind of a vision nightmare where I was half asleep, half awake, not quite awake, but not quite asleep, and seeing these bugs. And it was like I was struggling to wake up. But just before I awakened, that was the sight. It was scarier than anything I had seen in a long time. In this room, in my bedroom, from time to time, I feel what feels like something holding onto my head and grabbing the back of my head. I don't quite know what that is, but it feels horrible. There's the feeling of crawling. When I get crawled on, from time to time, it feels like somebody took like a ballpoint pen and just started moving on my skin. Okay. But with that said, it feels like a spiritual crawling too. And there's voices that come with it. So this is what I have been enduring. But I just met a woman this morning and rode up the street with her. And she talked to me very briefly about this apartment building where it had been on fire. And there were children. She said, yeah, some children got rescued. She said it like as an aside, but I take it personally, because I think about the raccoon coming just to rescue certain children, but maybe one child being left behind on own. I've been hearing about these people getting raped and tortured, about there being other children that had been targeted and placed in other people in attics and such. So this is what has been the local ongoings. I talked to the lady about, my nightmares and what's been going on. And she talked to me about her children, and having nightmares about her own, being in the woods, washing up on the shore, in the woods with their net broken. And I work in the woods. It's where I go often. So I ride past the shores and I smell this fishy odor that smells like a dying person or like dead fish or something. Something smells horrible in the area. It's near a bridge. And over again, when I came to this place on the bridge, it's like the people that I'm riding with or the people that I'm working with, it's like they're trying to figure out if they're going to heaven or hell for what they've done in life. And what they do, they come close to me in life, and then like the voice that sounds like God babbles to them, and they hear that I'm going to be Babylon, and they're not. But the ones that hear that I'm going to be Babylon, they're not. They're usually the bad guys and the skeevy types that did it. Okay, so repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Have a blessed and marvelous day. I am under the impression that my ex-husband, somewhere around the time when my son was about 10 years old, I pinpointed it to this time because that was in 2015, where he called my mother and tried to shake my son. He tried to leave my son with my mother. And it was like he had that determined way about him where he was going to get something done. Okay. He called. I know that Tommy is decisive. When he decides he's going to do something, even no matter how stupid, he goes through, he follows through. He has an impeccable follow through, even with the dumbest things that you could ever. So anyway, that's what I understood about my ex-husband. I was nervous about it. When he called and was trying to get rid of my son, I knew that he would follow through. I knew that he would get rid of my son. You feel me? So I called the police that night. It was when we were living on Berkeley Avenue in Portsmouth, or Berkeley Drive, whatever the road is over there. We lived in Seaworth Square for a little bit. And while we were living there, the police came and said, well, there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, it's Georgia, this is Virginia. But it was interesting that I called the police in Virginia for an issue in Georgia, because it follows that this particular person may have been running between Virginia and Georgia, trafficking our son. And the apartment where I stay may be very well where it was a secret apartment, in other words, that I had no clue about, where I'm understanding after looking at my nightmares that he may have been torturing our child right here while I was wandering about. So just know it. So have a blessed and marvelous day. You guys take care. Thank you for watching my video. I've reported it how I can. Call the police where you know to do so. If you have anything that you know about anything, just like if you see a nightmare, I'm understanding that the transgression, God can bring the whole world into the know about somebody that somebody tried to throw away. And basically the way that it went about, it's not just one person tried to throw this person away. It's a system of people that thought that they could throw this person away and get away with it. So I'm telling you, you might have been brought into the know about some things via your nightmares, via your dreams. Whatever you know, just tell somebody. If you don't know, you witnessed. Everything you saw, you witnessed. Okay? You were a witness to what you saw. You just saw it in the spirit. That was the thing that you witnessed from the spirit. You witnessed blank, 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 blank. If you ain't able to tell it straight up, well, I would argue, tell your police force anonymously. Like, sometimes it's some stuff that they can find out and figure out where, maybe you like the missing piece or something. Like, it's something they were looking for. But be careful. Tell some other people, too. You need some more witnesses to cover your back, too, just in case you're telling the wrong people by telling them. It's corruption all over the place. So have a blessed and marvelous day. You guys take care.